Hey Bookaholics, and welcome back to another video. Today I am bringing you my entire owned TBR. I am someone who really likes having a lengthy TBR, one that I can just work my way through at my own pace, that I can have loads to choose from. I also binge read series, which means that the TBR does grow and shrink quite quickly, so there's a lot of fluctuation there. I am not going to be going through each and every book. For you guys, this is not the longest video that I do, but for me it's an incredibly long video to film. Therefore, if I talked about every single one of these books, it would just be hours long. So I'm just going to hold up the book or put the picture of the book if it's digital here, say the name of the author, and that's it. But I do have some statistics before we get into them. So the first thing is that I have 401 unread books across 3 formats. The formats being physical, in which I have 247 unread books, ebooks, in which I have 146 unread books, and audiobooks, in which I have 8 unread books. I have 43 series, which comprises of 122 books. All of those are series that I plan on binging. They're not part of my historical ones where if I might own multiple books. However, there are 2 series that are in my series spreadsheet but that I am not going to binge, and I don't own all of the sequels yet. But other than that, it makes sense in my head. But on my spreadsheet I have 122 books within series I'm going to binge. For genres, I have 8 Afrofuturistic books, 8 contemporary books, 9 dark academia books, 189 fantasy books, 57 historical fiction books, 10 horror books, 20 literary fiction books, 2 mystery or thrillers, 13 mythology books, 3 non-fictions, 57 romances, and 25 sci-fi. Language-wise, I have 389 books in English and 12 books in Spanish. Slightly skewed ratio there. And for ages, I have 11 YA books, 3 new adult books, and 387 adult books, which again, slightly skewed there. And then for some reason, I decided it would be funny if I did a total page count. So for all of my books, digital, audio, and physical, I have a total page count of 185,105 unread pages. Now, my digital books are all in the same file on my spreadsheet, so I will only specify if it's an audiobook. If I don't say anything, it's an ebook, so it will only be if it's an audiobook that I will feel compelled to point it out. But let's get started with my TBR. Within digital books, we have 2 contemporary books, which are The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett and Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. 4 dark academia novels: Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Tors, All's Well and Bunny by Mona Awad, and An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. In fantasy, we have Spells for Forgetting and The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young, The Broken Heart of Aurelium by Alex Robbins, Fortune's Fool by Angela Board, the audiobook of Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed, The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Brienne Randall, Blood of an Exile by Brian Nasland, Of Thieves and Shadows by B.S.H. Garcia, The Maleficent Seven by Cameron Johnson, The Watchmaker's Daughter by C.J. Archer, The Fall Is All There Is by C.M. Kaplan, Ilasoe by Darcy Little Badger, Flames Over Frost Helm by Dave Dobson, The House Witch by Delamac, Petition by Delilah One, Cold from the North and The Darkest Dusk by D.W. Ross, The Crown of Omens and The Horns of Grief by E.J. Double, Season of Albadan by Elam Marche and Christopher Woman, Waking Ursa Minor by Helen Rye Pedersen, The Gauntlet and the Fist Beneath by Ian Green, Undertakers Incorporated by J.C. Compton, Dracul by J.D. Barker, Here There Be Monsters by Josh Wright, Scab Among the Stars by J.T.R. Brown, Rise Red Kingdom by Kirsten Espinosa Rosero, Now She Is Witch by Kirsty Logan, Blood Mage by K.S. Veloso, the audiobook of The Bell Witches by Lindsay Kelk, Palom, Amara and Issa by L.L. McRae, Eagle's Fall and A King's Radiance by L.R. Schultz, Mr. Darcy's Dragon by Maria Grace, A Reign of Emerald Fire by Matthew J. Turner, A Low Country and Die Young by Morgan Shank. The New Moon's Arms by Nalo Hopkinson. The Burnings by Naomi Kelsey. The Way of Adan by Philip Chase. The Half Killed by Quenby Olson. The Black Feathers by Rebecca Netley. Never Die by Rob J. Hayes. A Rival Most Vile by R. Ashwick. Dark Tidings by Ryan O'Neill. The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. Evocation by S. T. Gibson. The Wings of Ashtaroth by Steve Hugh Westenra. Tethered Spirits by T. A. Hernandez. The Seventh Bride by T. Kingfisher. A Touch of Light by Tiago Abdallah. Shadows of Ivory by T. L. Greylock and Bryce O'Connor. Perilous Times by Thomas D. Lee. Shiggity and the Brass Head of Obufalon by Wald Talabi. Death Rider, Gunmetal Gods, Conqueror's Blood, Elder Epoch, and Dark Drinker by Zamil Akhtar. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. The Palace of Illusions by Chitra Banerjee. The 13th Child by Erin A. Craig. The Hand That Casts the Bone by H. L. Tinsley. Mistress of Lies by K. M. Enright. Legacy of Brick and Bone by Crystal Matar. Sorcery and Small Magics by Maiga Ducey. A Master of Jinn by P. Jelly Clark. The Hollow Mountain by Sarah Lynn. The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez. The Blood of Old Kings by Sung Il Kim. To the Sky by Tang Ki. The Foxwife by Yang Si Chu. In historical fiction, I have Mary by Anne Eekhout. The Devil's Consort and the Queen's Rival by Anne O'Brien. The Persephone Code by Julia Golding. The audiobook of The Burning Chambers by Kate Moss. The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. In horror, we have Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. The Black Hunger by Nicholas Pullen. Leech by Huron Ennis. Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell. Out There Screaming, an anthology compiled by Jordan Peele. Botanical Daughter by Noah Medlock. Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. In literary fiction, we have Mr. Loverman by Bernardine Evaristo. There Are Rivers in the Sky by Elif Shafak. Trust by Hernan Diaz. Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. The audiobook of The Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison. And The Map of Salt and Stars by Zain Jaukadar. The only mystery I have on here is From Below by Darcy Coates. The only non-fiction I have on here is Unwell Women by Eleanor Cleggan. For romance and erotica, we have Wrath's Daughter by A.E. Cosby. The North Wind by Alexandria Warwick. The audiobook of Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Butcher and Blackbeard by Bryn Weaver. My Roommate is a Vampire and My Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levine. Go Hex Yourself by Jessica Clare. Hex and Hexability by Kate Johnson. Dating Dracula by Kinsley Adams. The Crimson Moth by Kirsten Ciccarelli. Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper. Guild by Raven Kennedy. When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. Ledge by Stacey McEwen. The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole. Woman of Blood and Bone by Annie Anderson. King of the Fae by Ava Mason. The Stars Too Fondly by Emily Hamilton. The Ex-Hex by Erin Starling. Haunting Adeline by H.T. Carlton. Learn My Lesson by Katie Roberts. Court of Winter by Krista Street. Captive in the Underworld by Lian Yu Tan. Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. House of Crimson Hearts by Ruby Rowe. Written in Blood by Silvana G. Sanchez. The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. The Hurricane Wars by Teo Guanzon. And for sci-fi, we have Alif the Unseen by G. Willow Wilson. The Bride Hunt of Elk Mountain by Lumen Reese. The Jinbot of Shantipur by Samir Basu. And The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin. Okay, I am now going to go through my physical TBR. We're going to be starting with the books that are in my TBR jar. So they are books that I have owned for a while. They're ones that are out of my comfort zone. And they are series that I am not intending to binge read. So it might be like the first couple of books in a series that I'm going to give a go, etc. These are not ones that are part of the series I plan on binging. And they are not comfort zone genres. Starting with my mythology books, we have Lord of the Silver Bow, the first book in the Troy series by David Gemmell. Helen of Troy by Margaret George. American Indian Stories, Legends, and Other Writings by Zit Kala Shah. African Myths of Origin. The King Must Die by Mary Renault. The Binder of the Once and Future King by T.H. White, which consists of The Sword in the Stone, The Witch in the Wood, The Ill-Made Knight, The Candle in the Wind, and The Book of Merlin. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Troy by Stephen Fry. Legends of Arthur by Richard Barber. The Rani of Jhansi by Prince Michael of Greece. The Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel. The Waking of Angantyr by Marie Brennan. And The Weaver and the Witch Queen by Genevieve Gornichek. My two non-fiction that I have are Attila the Hun by John Mann and Rasputin by Frances Welch. For historical, I have Pompeii by Robert Harris. Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. Dominion by C.J. Sampson. Winter in Madrid by C.J. Sampson. The Latin American trilogy by Louis de Bagnes, consisting of The War for Don Emanuel's Nether Parts, Signor Vivo and the Coca Lord, and The Troublesome Offspring of Cardinal Guzman. I also have Captain Corelli's Mandolin and Birds Without Wings, also by Louis de Bagnes. The Ashes of London by Andrew Taylor. The Sweet Smell of Decay by Paul Lawrence. The first three books in the War of the Roses tetralogy by Con Iggulden, consisting of Stormbird, Trinity, and Bloodline. The Taxidermist's Daughter by Kate Moss. The Distant Hours, The House at Riverton, The Secret Keeper, and Homecoming, all by Kate Morton. The King's Sister by Anne O'Brien. The Beautiful Ones by Silvia Moreno Garcia. The Midwife of Venice by Roberta Rich. The Girl with the Painted Face by Gabriela Kim. And The Book of Fires by Jane Borrowdale. In Spanish, I have La Villa de las Telas by Anne Jacobs. La Catedral de la Luz by Rubén Laurín. El Mapa del Fin del Mundo by Ignacy Serraima. El Ángel Perdido by Javier Sierra. La Llave Maestra by Agustín Sánchez Vidal. Books 2 and 3 in Santiago Posteguillos series, which are Circo Máximo and La Legión Perdida, as well as his Africanos trilogy, which consists of Africanus, Las Legiones Malditas, and La Traición de Roma. La Catedral del Mar by Ildefonso Falcones, its sequel, Los Herederos de la Tierra, and also La Mano de Fatima by this author. I have one horror, which is A Mouthful of Birds by Samantha Schweblin. For literary fiction, I have Paula by Isabel Allende, The Garden of Evening Mists by Tan Tuan Eng, The Beekeeper's Apprentice by Laurie R. King, The Lincoln Highway by Amor Towles, Harlem Shuffle, and The Underground Railroad, both by Colson Whitehead. For contemporary, I have Family Law by Elizabeth Acevedo, Anxious People, My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologies, Rich Marie Was Here, A Man Called Ove, and Deal of a Lifetime, all by Frederick Backman, Tuesdays with Maury, and The Five People You Meet in Heaven, both by Mitch Albom, White Teeth, and On Beauty by Zadie Smith. And finally, Love by Toni Morrison. For romance and romantasy, we have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, The Collector, The Witness, and Whiskey Beach by Nora Roberts. Two anthologies written by Nora Roberts, writing as J.D. Robb, along with other authors. We have Bump in the Night and Out of This World. Two short stories by Nora Roberts, which are Spellbound and Ever After. And for contemporary romance, we have The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, Hannah Khan Carries On by Uzma Jalaluddin, and The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I have two classics, The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells and A Thousand Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. The two dark academia that I have are Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas and If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I have some loosely, somewhat speculative, but I don't know exactly where to put them till I've read them, books. We have Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North, The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton, The Wizard of the Pigeons by Megan Lindham, Prey by Michael Crichton, Airframe by Michael Crichton. In sci-fi, I have I Sing the Body Electric and Other Stories by Ray Bradbury. The Empire of Silence, the first book in Christopher Rocchio's The Sun Eater series. Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh. Far from the Light of Heaven by Tate Thompson. The Cosmic Trilogy by C.S. Lewis, consisting of Out of the Silent Planet, Perelandra, and That Hideous Strength. The Long Earth by Terry Pratchett and Stephen Baxter. And The House of Suns and Century Reign, both by Alistair Reynolds. In paranormal, I have The Resurrectionist by James Bradley, The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan, The Testament of Gideon Mack by James Robertson, The Demonologist by Andrew Piper, the first two books in the Lives of the Mayfair Witches trilogy by Anne Rice, consisting of The Witching Hour and Leisure, and the first two books in the Ramesses the Damned series, which are The Mummy and Ramesses the Damned, The Passion of Cleopatra. In fantasy, we have Perdido Street Station by China Melville, The War of the Roses by Tad Williams, The Winter Road by Adrian Selby, Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman, A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune, Gardens of the Moon by Stephen Erickson, the first book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series, The Rivers of London by Ben Aronovich, the first book in the Rivers of London series, The Court of the Air by Stephen Hunt, and the first two books in the Book of Dust series by Philip Pullman, which consists of The Book of Dust, La Belle Sauvage, and The Book of Dust, The Secret Commonwealth. For series I currently have ongoing, we have the next four Discworld books, which are Mort, Book 4, Sorcery, Book 5, Weird Sisters, Book 6, and Pyramids, Book 7. The next 7 In Death books, which are Rapture in Death, Book 4, Ceremony in Death, Book 5, Vengeance in Death, Book 6, Holiday in Death, Book 7, Conspiracy in Death, Book 8, Loyalty in Death, Book 9, and Judgment in Death, Book 10. The Dark Tower series by Stephen King. I do have the companion book that is the 4.5 book, which is The Wind Through the Keyhole in digital form. Then I have Book 5, The Wolves of the Calla, 6, The Song of Susanna, and 7, The Dark Tower. In A Song of Ice and Fire, I have A Clash of Kings, A Storm of Swords Part 1, Steel and Snow, A Storm of Swords Part 2, Blood and Gold, A Feast for Crows, A Dance with Dragons Part 1, Dreams and Dust, and A Dance with Dragons Part 2, After the Feast. And I also have Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is a companion novel in this world. I have two series that I plan on owning all of the books very soon, but I do not currently, and that is the Wolf Den series by Elodie Harper. I only have this first book, The Wolf Den, at the moment, and the Belladonna trilogy by Adzelyn Grace. I only own the first two books at the moment, which are Belladonna and Foxglove. And now finally getting into the series that I plan on binge reading. So for the digital series I'm going to binge, the only audiobook series that I have is the Waystations series by N.C. Scrimshaw. I have Those Left Behind, Those Once Forgotten, and Those Who Resist. And I also have the prequel novella in ebook format, which is To Flee a Starless Sky. I have the Unnatural Magic series by C.M. Wagoner, which consists of Unnatural Magic and the Ruthless Lady's Guide to Wizardry, The Secrets of the Nile duology consisting of What the River Knows and Where the Library Hides, the Islands of Blood and Storm series by Casey Canada consisting of Queen of the Conquered and King of the Rising, the Celestial Kingdoms series by Su Lin Tan consisting of Daughter of the Moon Goddess and Heart of the Sun Warrior, as well as the collection of tales from the Celestial Kingdom. And finally, the Written in the Stars trilogy by Alexandria Belfleur consisting of Written in the Stars, Hang the Moon, and Count Your Lucky Stars. Two historical fictions, we have the Languedoc duology by Kate Moss consisting of Labyrinth, Sepulchre, and Citadel, and the Boudica tetralogy by Amanda Scott consisting of Dreaming the Eagle, Dreaming the Bull, Dreaming the Hound, and Dreaming the Serpent Spear. For romance and romantasy, we have the Shepherd King duology by Rachel Gillig consisting of One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns, the Dangerous Damsels trilogy by India Holton consisting of the Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels, A League of Gentlewomen Witches, and The Secret Service of Tea and Treason, the League of Extraordinary Women series by Evie Dunmore consisting of Bringing Down the Duke, A Rogue of One's Own, Portrait of a Scotsman, and The Gentleman's Gambit. I have two sci-fi series. We have The Themis Files by Sylvain Nouvel consisting of Sleeping Giants, Waking Gods, and Only Human, as well as the first 5 Red Rising books, which consist of Red Rising, Morning Star, and Golden Sun. And the sequel series, so far I own Iron Gold and Dark Age. For Afrofuturism, I have the Blood Gift duology by N.E. Davenport, consisting of The Blood Trials and The Blood Gift. Gift, the Xenogenesis trilogy by Octavia E. Butler, consisting of Dawn, Adulthood Rights, and Imago, the Great Cities duology by N.K. Jemisin, consisting of The City We Became and The World We Make, and the Wormwood trilogy by Tate Thompson, consisting of Rosewater, Insurrection, and Redemption. For sci fantasy, I have two series. We have the Winnowing Flame trilogy by Jen Williams, consisting of Ninth Reign, Bitter Twins, and The Poison Song. And I also have the Burning Blade and Silver Eye trilogy by Django Wexler, consisting of Ashes of the Sun, Blood of the Chosen, and Emperor of Ruin. For magical realism, I have El Cementerio de Libros Olvidados by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, consisting of La Sombra del Viento, El Juego del Ángel, El Prisionero del Cielo, and El Laberinto de los Espíritus. For paranormal, I have the Cousins O'Dwyer series by Nora Roberts, consisting of Dark Witch, Shadow Spell, and Blood Magic. For dark academia, I have the Magicians series by Lev Grossman, consisting of The Magicians, The Magician King, and The Magician's Land. For mythology, I have the Loki duology by Joanne M. Harris, consisting of The Testament of Loki and The Gospel of Loki. For historical fantasy, I have the Earth's Children series by Jean M. Auel, consisting of The Clan of the Cave Bear, The Valley of Horses, The Mammoth Hunters, The Plains of Passage, The Sisters of Stone, and The Land of Painted Caves. And I also have the Radiant Emperor duology by Shelley Parker Chan, consisting of She Who Became the Sun and He Who Drowned the World. And now finally, for epic fantasy, I have The God King Chronicles by Mike Brooks, consisting of The Black Coast, The Splinter King, and The Godbreaker. The Rook and Rose trilogy by M.A. Carrick, consisting of Mask of Mirrors, The Liar's Knot, and Labyrinth's Heart. The Swords and Fire trilogy by Melissa Caruso, consisting of The Tethered Mage, The Defiant Heir, and The Unbound Empire. The Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee, consisting of Jade City, Jade War, and Jade Legacy. The Broken Empire trilogy by Mark Lawrence, consisting of Prince of Thorns, King of Thorns, and Emperor of Thorns. The Serpent Gate duology by A.K. Larkwood, consisting of The Unspoken Name and The Thousand Eyes. The Between Earth and Sky trilogy by Rebecca Roanhorse, consisting of Black Sun, Fevered Star, and Mirrored Heavens. The Legacy trilogy by Matthew Ward, consisting of Legacy of Ash, Legacy of Light, and Legacy of Steel. The Books of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin, consisting of A Wizard of Earthsea, The Tombs of Atuan, The Farthest Shore, Tehanu, Tales from Earthsea, The Other Wind, and A Description of Earthsea. The Quest for Heroes duology by Stephen Arion, consisting of The Coward and The Warrior. The Ascendant trilogy by Kay Arsenault Rivera, consisting of The Tiger's Daughter, The Phoenix Empress, and The Warrior Moon. The Tenseret series by Neon Yang, consisting of The Black Tides of Heaven, The Red Threads of Fortune, The Descendant of Monsters, and The Ascent to Godhood. The Legacy of the Lost Mage trilogy by K.S. Veloso, consisting of Jayeth's Eye, Aena's Breath, and Sapphire's Flight. The Empire of the Wolf by Richard Swan, consisting of The Justice of Kings, The Tyranny of Faith, and The Trials of Empire. The Divine Cities trilogy by Robert Jackson Bennett, consisting of City of Stairs, City of Blades, and City of Miracles. The last books that I have on here are my Cosmere books, and I have Arcanum Unbounded. I have started this. I have read some of these, but I have more to read. And Mistborn Era 2, which consists of Alloy of Law, Shadows of Self, Bands of Mourning, and The Lost Metal, all by Brandon Sanderson. And there you have it. That is my entire TBR. My reading room is completely destroyed, but my TBR is done. It's ready. It's finito. Very, very excited for the vast majority of these. I've had a good cull of the ones that were like dragging down the TBR a bit. So hopefully with the jars coming back next year, we can get through a decent amount of my backlist as well as some exciting new shiny ones. But that is all for me for today. So let me know which of all of the books in this video is your favourite. Recommend you can give me a top 10, a top 5, just your favourite one, the one you most want me to read, the one you hated the most. Let me know in the comments down below. And that is all for me for today. Bye!